Good evening, everyone. I'm Sophie Erber.
And I'm Greg Trick. Governor Rick Snyder gave his 8th and final State of the State address tonight,
recapping both success over the years and areas that still need some improvement.
The creation of jobs, a rise in tourism thanks to the Pure Michigan campaign, and fighting drug addiction. Just some of the high points noted by Governor Rick Snyder tonight. He specifically touched on the success of the new Angel program in Delta County, allowing those suffering from drug addiction to turn themselves in without fear of arrest.
It's called the Angel program, and it was started by two individuals who are not here tonight, but I do want to recognize them. Lieutenant Rob LaMarche of the Escanaba Department of Public Safety and Delta County Prosecutor Phil Strong. And the goal isn't to arrest you, but to get you counseling. And it did so well up in Escanaba and that part of the state. I want to thank the Michigan State Police for doing it statewide. We've rolled it out across all of Michigan, and I can tell you we've saved lives already.
18-year-old college student Jake Pudula, a recent Baraga High School graduate, already involved in politics, had the chance to see the governor's speech live tonight. He feels we're moving in the right direction, working to keep talented youth in the UP employed in the skilled trades.
In terms of school funding, the governor is making the largest per pupil investment in the past 15 years in terms of education spending. So that'll help our K-12 schools tremendously. It'll put more money back into the schools and classrooms, and I think it's needed, and it's really positive for schools all over Michigan.
State Senator Tom Casperson echoed this idea and says the UP is actually setting the example for the rest of the state.
Really, in some cases, we've been on the cutting edge. It was really some folks in Marquette that had the idea, the concept of maybe working with kids, keep them in high school one more year if they're going to go into these type of professions. And it would be a way for them to save a little money, give K-12 a little more responsibility with the kids, and ultimately really help them on their way with the skilled trades.
But State Representative Scott Dianda says while the governor talks about education, he hasn't followed through with the necessary funding to make these programs a success. State Representative Bo Lefebvre says he agrees with the governor's take on a variety of UP-centered topics.
I agree with Governor Snyder. We do need rural broadband in every corner of Michigan. I think that should be our one of our top priorities. I also think that it's incredibly important to stop the Asian carp. And I agree with him when he says if the federal government isn't willing to stop the Asian carp, then we will.
Lefebvre also added he is disappointed that Snyder did not address the high cost of auto insurance tonight, but looks forward to working with him in the future and finding a solution. The governor concluded with the idea that civility in government is something needed right now more than ever. And this comment struck a chord with Casperson as he and many others tonight thought of the late State Representative John Kivala, a shining example of what it meant to reach across the aisle and get things done.
First thing came to my mind, and I have to believe a lot of us in the UP would have thought about it, was I was thinking of John Kivala and kind of the example he left us, and the memories came back when he talked about that, because John really was an example of that. He wasn't out to get people, and if you were a Republican, he didn't care. If you were willing to work with him, he was going to work with you.
Again, this is Governor Snyder's final term in office.
He says he has an ambitious agenda with a focus on infrastructure and the environment.